Welcome to Show Pop. Today, I'm breaking down episode 1 of Ladies Who List Atlanta. This show highlights Black female excellence and entrepreneurship, and this episode portrays the collaboration, competition, and challenges that go with it. Now, before we get started, I need to make a correction. During my live review, I said Robyn has never known a good friend. What I should have said is Robyn may not have experienced emotionally safe female friendships. I want to add that in because I want to show that it's okay to make mistakes, and if you do, you're allowed to correct yourself. Let's start normalizing that, okay? That being said, grab yourself a drink, get comfortable, and let's get into this live recap. Here we go. What's up, everybody? So today I am going to watch live, review, and comment on the show called Ladies Who List Atlanta. Now, this show, according to the description, it says 6 top real estate pros dominate the Atlanta market while managing ever-changing work and personal relationships. So I love shows like this where it's a group of Black women who are professional and seeing them work. There was another show that I might also review. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it was really good, and it was a Netflix series. And it was also about women who, Black women who are in the realty and property selling business. So I'm excited to get into it. Let's do it. All right, so as we are getting to know these girls, I'm going to give you their names as they're introduced. So right now on the screen, I have Tiffany, who is a closing attorney, Tiana, a luxury agent, and Kira, a luxury agent. And let's see who else. Okay, and we also have, I think it's pronounced Kiana, who is a broker, Krystal, who is a closing attorney, and Robyn, who is a broker. And it is Robyn that has come up with the idea of having a brokerage of all Black women coming together to work. What it sounds to me like she wants them to partner in a brokerage. Okay, so that's what I got so far. Let's keep going. All right, so in this first scene, Kiara and Kiana are sitting poolside, and they are celebrating Kira's, I think that's not Kiara, I think it's Kira. They are celebrating Kira's closing on a multi-million-dollar house. And if you know anything about real estate, they typically get a good chunk of, I want to say it depends on the realtor, but they can get anywhere from, I think, 15, 20, maybe even more % of a sale cash. So you can just imagine how much money she's making, or that she made from that sale. So it's a huge deal, huge accomplishment. Wonderful. In this, during their conversation, they talk about Kiana and her upbringing. She grew up in, I can't remember what city they said, but in North Carolina, I think it is. And she talks about how she grew up in the projects, and, you know, how that shaped her, how she feels growing up in the projects, kind of, you know, being in there kind of limits you. You're kind of closed off, and it can make you feel as though you are limited in what you can accomplish in life by being in an atmosphere like that, but she never felt limited. So I love seeing women coming from difficult backgrounds and thriving. I feel like myself, that is something I can personally relate to, as I am a woman who comes from very difficult, very tough background. And I'm trying to grow as a woman and as a professional, as a, you know, business person, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it. So I absolutely enjoyed her story. These are 2 beautiful women who seem to have their things together. And that's what we love to see over here on Show Pop. Let's keep going. The second scene is short, but still very deep, very has depth to it. So in this scene where it's two of the other women that are in the group, it is Robyn and Krystal sitting. It looks like they're having lunch. They're at a restaurant. And there you could just kind of tell that they are, well, I'll say this, in this scene they are talking about how they met, and it's pretty funny because Krystal describes Robyn as a firecracker, so that tells you that she is got lots of personality, maybe that she uh is a little fiery, maybe that she is passionate. So when I think of firecracker, I think of those words. So they are having a chat, and Robyn alludes to that she has this idea, but she's not sure if she wants to talk about it. Okay. But when Robyn has her confessional in this scene, it's really powerful because she talks about how she came from very humble beginnings, how she was rejected as a child. She was a teenage mother. There was a time where she really struggled, and based on everything she has been through, she was not supposed to win in society's eyes, right? But here she is. That's what I'm gathering from her. But here I am. But I made it. But I survived. Again, very, very powerful. And this is the kind of, when I'm watching reality television, this is what I want to watch. This is what I want to see. You know what I mean? People overcoming adversity, people overcoming pain and struggle, people persevering, people moving into their purpose in life. That to me is what makes great reality television. Excuse me. That's what makes great reality television to me. That's the kind of stuff I want to see on my reality shows, not, backstabbing, people fighting, mess, a little drama. Of course, we love the drama, honey. Okay. A little drama is all right. And we got to have, this is the entertainment industry after all. But when I'm watching reality television, I want to see people who empower me. I want to see myself in these people. You know what I mean? Or, there's also, I don't know. I can't speak for everyone. That's what I want to see. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Let's keep going. Okay, so now we get to know a little bit more about Krystal. And Krystal discusses how she had strong role models, which were her parents, her mother and her father, who helped shape her into the woman that she is and the entrepreneur that she is, the businesswoman that she is. And she discusses like several businesses that she's had as a child. That was crazy to me. She had a dog walking business. She washed golf balls off and then resold them. She had a car washing business. This woman had and girl at that time had multiple businesses, and they show clips and pictures of her her different as a child, and you can see that she was an entrepreneur even then, and now she discusses how all that discipline and all of that experience helped shape her to be the woman that she is, the businesswoman and the entrepreneur that she is now. Very powerful. Love it. Let's keep going. So in this scene that I'm watching now, it is Krystal and Robyn, and they are doing the closing attorney paperwork for a house that was bought by two YouTubers for I think they said $595,000, just over $500,000. And mind you, Robyn is a broker and Krystal is a attorney, some type of attorney. So that's who Robyn likes to work with to do the attorney side for the houses. So I love that these Black women collaborate that way. That's important to note. We're seeing a collaboration between two entrepreneurs, very powerful, something to take note of for those of us who want to be entrepreneurs, right? That being said, they discuss about how beautiful and powerful it is for this Black couple to be purchasing this property because there was a time when Black people couldn't own property legally here in the United States, So that is something to really sit with, especially given that I'm recording this. Hopefully I'll get it out in February, but as of now, I'm recording it in February, which is Black History Month. So that was really touching and powerful to touch on because it really makes me think about how important it is that us as a community, as Black people, that we are smart with our money and we invest so that we can build generational wealth, which is what they discuss in this scene. So that is something that I really enjoyed. That being said, I have to say this. Some people aren't going to like it, but it's all right. We can disagree, but let's disagree respectfully, right? Because we have elevated conversations over here. I don't think that the YouTubers, I forgot their names. It's really not that important, but I don't think that they were married. I didn't see a ring on the man's finger. And if you know who those YouTubers are and you watch the show and you know who I'm talking about, leave a comment and let me know, are they married? And I do think it's important, okay? I do. That's why I'm bringing it up. I may have seen an engagement ring on the girl's finger, but I don't know. I was kind of just, zooming through the scene. But I don't think it's a good idea, you guys, if they are not married. If I'm wrong, then just toss this out. But if you are not married, I don't think it's a good idea for you to invest with someone you're not married to if you're romantically involved. Now, if you're a bunch of friends getting together and you really, 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 really trust your friends and you guys want to buy some property or whatever, and then you know that if, whatever it serves its purpose or whatever you guys decide to sell one day, it's going to be, split equally and you have lawyers and all that stuff, fine. And maybe they do. But I just don't think it's a good idea to invest with a significant other that you're not married to because it's legal stuff involved. And I don't know. I know that I'm going to stand on business today and say, I'm going to stand 10 toes down on it. And I do realize that some people are going to say, oh, well, not everybody wants to be married and, not everybody wants that. I get it. But I think when it comes to building your assets, if you didn't enter into a legal agreement between you, that person, and the government, which will be a marriage and a marriage certificate, I think you should really think and speak to a lawyer about first before purchasing property with a significant other, because that can get really, really messy if things don't work out. That's all I'm saying, okay? I'm going to leave it there. All right, let's keep going. In this next scene, we are introduced to two new women, which are Tiffany and Tiana. And in this scene, they're at the park with their children and they discuss the struggles of motherhood. They discuss how, trying to balance being an entrepreneur with being a mother and being a wife can be really challenging. Tiana talks about how, the balance is already a struggle. And then she goes and signs up for even more extra activities, like, the random things that come up when your kids are in school, typically like elementary school, like PTA stuff or whatever. And Tiffany is not that kind of mom. So they discuss they compare and contrast their mothering types and things like that. It was good. That's pretty much what I got from that scene. Let's keep going. All right, so now I'm intrigued. Now I'm paying attention. So, in the scene that I am watching, it is Robyn and Krystal. And Robyn is now introducing that idea that I told you about in the beginning of this recap, where she is saying that a lot of the brokers are pulling in millions of dollars for these white realtor companies. I don't know what you call them, brokerages. I don't know. Okay. I'm not a realtor. Okay. Just bear with me. Um, and, look up anything to clarify what I mean. And what her suggestion is that why not get all these, brokers together like herself and even Krystal, who is an attorney, and put everything under one business, under one house, and be a all female, all black brokerage in Atlanta. Freaking Robyn, you freaking genius woman. I am just like, this is the kind of stuff I live for. Live, okay? This woman is thinking big. She is thinking up. She is thinking longevity. She is thinking just everything. We were talking about generational wealth earlier. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, okay? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I want to see from my black women, the women that I want to look up to, the women I want to be like, okay? Hello. Love it. So now I just paused on her confessional, and I want to take note of something here. She talks about her relationships with women, and she touches on her struggle to connect with women because the way that she grew up. And one thing that she said here, and I this is not a quote, but I think I'm close enough. She said, I wasn't raised on love. I was raised on struggle. And then she went on to discuss how she's very selective about the women in her life. Now, I don't know if I missed this earlier, but I'm going to be paying more closer attention to Robyn. And the question that I have here, given what she says, is what is her relationship like with her mom? Because the way that she talks about her fight and her struggle as a woman, it makes me wonder, are the abandonment issues and the issues with women and being able to connect with a woman, do they come from her mom? And maybe that's something I missed earlier. I'm the kind of person, I don't like to rewind stuff a whole bunch of times. I do, and there are times when I do, and there are times when I don't. But I am just like, for me, I'm like, I catch what I catch, and whatever I don't catch, that maybe somebody else can cover that. You know what I mean? That's how I go. I'm just like, and I try to pay close attention the first time. So she may have discussed that in the first confessional, earlier in the episode, because she did touch on some stuff, and I'm sure I didn't catch everything she said, but I'm still, even if she did say it, must have been brief. So I still wonder, and I'm still going to be looking to see if she says anything else about her relationship with her mom, her grandmother, or aunts, or things like that, because it sounds like she did not have those. And that's part of the reason why she struggles building close relationships with women as an adult. Okay. So let's keep going. This is good, you guys. This is so good. There are so many layers to this show already, you guys. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get through this entire episode tonight. It's already 11:30 on Sunday, and I need to work in the morning, and go to bed. But it is just so layered. Okay, so in the scene that I'm watching now, it is Krystal and Robyn. I think I told you that already. Okay, and they're discussing everything. Now is so many layers to it. Okay, first let me talk about the ladies that they're talking about introducing or proposing this idea to about the all female, all black brokerage domination. Love it, right? Robyn talks about, or rather, Krystal starts naming off people of who, would be included in that they can pitch to. They mention Tiana. Now, this is important. Let's take note of this. Krystal says that Tiana does not close with her. She does not use her as a closing attorney. That's important given that Tiana is a black broker and Krystal is one of two black brokerage attorneys, whatever, attorney broker. I don't freaking know. She's one of two of them. So I don't know if she uses Tiffany, which I'll get to that in just a second, or if she doesn't care and she just uses whatever or whoever's cheaper. I don't know. Let's check that off. Tiana does not use Krystal as her broker attorney. Tiffany, remember we talked about Tiffany earlier. She was sitting with Tiana actually. And Tiffany is a broker attorney as well. And she's one of the two. So there's only Krystal and Tiffany. Those are the only two black attorneys, broker attorneys, or attorney brokers, whatever. So Krystal is saying she doesn't know if it makes sense to go into business with Tiffany. Now, that's when Robyn asked her, like, well, are you guys competing? And Krystal says no, but Krystal, are you telling the truth? Because if you're saying you wouldn't do business with her, then you must be in competition with her. Because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. I don't know. I'd have to really take time to think about that one. Okay. Now, moving into the other thing I want to touch on real quick. In this scene, of course, like I said, they're going back and forth. They're having dialogue. Krystal says to Robyn, can I tell you something without you getting upset? Robyn says, I don't know what she says. I don't know if she said okay or not, but Krystal went on and told her what was on her mind. Krystal pretty much told her that, you don't seem to get along with women very well. And she said what her words was, you don't play in the sandbox well. And Robyn gets very agitated very quickly. I'm actually shocked at the level of agitation, how agitated she got and how quickly it happened, okay, in that scene, or in this scene rather. And then, so that's when Robyn kind of goes like, what are you talking about? Or I'm talking about business, she says. This is a business proposal. And then that's when Krystal kind of comes back with, do you see yourself being able to go into business and work well with these ladies? And this is when Krystal she gets a little hype, and she's like, getting like very agitated. She, I think she said she would, don't make her toss this drink on, alluded to tossing a drink on Krystal. I don't know if that's how she jokes, but I was like, wow, you get to that level that fast over that? And then now in her confessional, she says, this is why I don't have good relationships with women. You tell them some of the more vulnerable parts of you, the more, you're vulnerable with them, and then they weaponize it against you. Robyn. Yes, they can do that if they're not your friend or if they don't really truly like you. But that's not what Krystal was doing. Krystal appears to be a true friend. You're going to need to learn to understand when you have a good friend and when someone is using something against you and when someone is challenging you to think about all parts. That's all Krystal's doing, is challenging you to think deeply, think critically, really evaluate who you are and how you behave, And if you can really do this sort of thing, she is not trying to be, she's not trying to manipulate your vulnerability or you telling her something to make you feel bad. You misread that here. And I have a feeling that you maybe haven't been to therapy to deal with some of the things that you have been through with women and the people in your family or whoever it is that, you is the root cause or the root, to the pain that you're feeling or the struggles that you have with women. But I don't think you read that one right, my dear. And the fact that you seem to be so volatile so quickly over someone just mentioning something like that, which I know that it can be difficult for a friend to bring up something personal about you that you don't really like, or that part that you're the part of you that you're still working on, okay? But if you know that that's coming from a place of love, true love, you know that it's for your betterment. It's obvious that Robyn doesn't think that Krystal's coming from a place of love, and she talks about how she has never received love and how she never grew up on love. But the fact that you're so insightful and you know that, and you still behave this way, you still get so volatile, even knowing this means that you haven't really done your work. That's what I would infer, that you haven't really done the work. And that's unfortunate because you seem like a very smart, very capable businesswoman, and I don't want to see something like that hold you back. And I just wanted to take note of that. All right, you guys, let's keep going. So to close up that last scene, or the scene that I was discussing, Krystal even goes to tell Kiana, I love you. And Kiana is like, don't patronize me during this argument. Robyn. My bad. It's late. So that's Krystal and Robyn, okay? And Krystal is telling Robyn that she says to her, she's like, I love you, as she's like trying to explain to her to look at this thing objectively. That's all Krystal's trying to do, is just tell her to look at it objectively. Look at who you are, your personality, your behaviors. Look at who these women are, what you know of them and their personality and their behaviors, and really think about if you can run a business with these women. That's all she was saying. Robyn has never known a real female friend in her life. That's what I get from this scene. Because when you say something, when your friend tells you I love you and you say don't patronize me, and I can see it in Krystal's face. Krystal seems to be a very balanced. She seems to have come from a very balanced background. It appears from what I mean, this is just the first episode, but it appears from what I'm gathering from Krystal is that she seems to be well-rounded. And I think she's genuine. And I think she's genuine in who she is and who she is as a friend. And I truly believe that I didn't get anything condescending from her in that moment or anything like that. I could be wrong. Maybe Robyn is right and there's something in the background that we don't see. But from what I got from that scene, I didn't get that Krystal was trying to be condescending or patronizing. And for Robyn to immediately go, for when someone says, I love you, to don't patronize me, she has never known a true female friend. I don't know about a male friend, but female friend, there's no way, because that's not a conversation like that. If you're a woman and you have a true friend that is a woman in your life, I think that conversation would not have turned out the way that it did. And it got very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. So they, somehow managed to get, to just kind of settle down and agree to disagree and, and pretty much say, okay, well, we're just going to find out and see how it goes. Let's just see how it goes. So they're making plans to, reach out to the women and see if they're interested in doing business. All right. So in this scene that I'm watching, Kiana is showing her client, which is an actress, her name's Krystal, a modern style home, which is a pocket listing, which means it's not officially on the market yet. And Kiana got the hookup from her friend Ashton. And I just want to say a little bit about the house. It's a beautiful house. Did you guys see that shower? To die, right? With the bench made in. And then it had a like outdoor upstairs terrace, not a balcony. I don't know what you call that, but it's like it's on the second floor, kind of. And it's this outdoor area with like a grassy area. It's really, really cute. And the house was very nice. So that's pretty much it for that scene. Let's keep going. All right. I thought that scene had ended, but no. So, um, Krystal, the attorney, the broker attorney, then comes in on the tail end of Kiana showing her client the house. So they step aside, Kiana and Krystal, and this is where we learned that Kiana has a bit of a complicated relationship with Robyn. Krystal introduces the idea. Well, she doesn't go into details, but she asks Kiana, would she be willing to meet for dinner to hear Krystal's pitch? And this is where Kiana tells Krystal, like, she'd be willing to do it for her. But then she talks about, it sounds to me as though she needed a business favor from Robyn, and Robyn wasn't willing to do it for free. That's what it sounds like to me at this moment. Y'all tell me in the comments what it sounds like to you, or when you heard that part in this scene, what you thought. That's what I'm gathering from it. Because the way that Kiana puts it is like, why would you, like it? She said it was predatory, as it sounded like she was in a rock and a hard place. She needed some help from someone outside of the organization she worked for. She tried to reach out to Robyn for that help, and Robyn didn't want to do it for free. That's what it sounds like to me. So this has made their relationship a bit strained, it sounds like. And it sounds like that she has known Robyn, or she did mention that she's known Robyn quite a bit. And, she's even been around her husband, I think she said, and her husband has had dealings with, I don't know. Okay, don't quote me on that. But they seem to have it's not just work. So it sounds like she really thought that she could trust Robyn and that she would help her maybe as a friend, and that just wasn't the case. But it's good that it's good that we take note of that in this moment. So, okay, that is finally it for that scene. So let's keep going. Okay, in this next scene, Krystal's sitting down with her sister, and I didn't catch her name, but they look so much alike. I wonder if they're twins, and I keep looking at the scene over and over, or looking at them closely in the scene, because they look so much alike. But I want to say Krystal's sister gives some really great advice here about meeting people where they are, and how if someone isn't in a certain space, they may not be able to receive what you're trying to give to them, and may take your loving words as condescending or belittling. It's obvious Krystal's sister has a great read on people. Now, I just want to note here how Krystal really mentions how she looks at the friendship between her and Robyn as a genuine, true friendship. So I see that on her side. And I've seen that even in that scene where she was talking to Robyn, that I could tell that she looks at her as a true friend. I'm not so sure about Robyn, or if she knows what a true friend even is at this point. But it's good to note that the viewpoint of Krystal is that she loves, respects, and wants the best for Robyn. So she's trying to navigate and figure out how she's going to continue to move forward with Robyn without Robyn kind of lashing out at her because of whatever she's feeling and going through, whether that be because she's feeling nervous about her business idea or otherwise. So that's what I really got from that scene. Let's keep going. All right. In the scene that I am watching now, Tiana is having a broker's invite to a modern contemporary house that she's trying to sell. The whole point of this is that she will create enough buzz that she won't actually have to put the house on the market. Somebody will just buy it. So that's what she's doing. And she has invited Kira, Kiana, and Tiffany. They're all there. Now, they take a moment to discuss the fact that Robyn, they have now heard that Robyn wants to do business with them. This is where Kiana kind of touches on very lightly. She doesn't really go in, but she very lightly touches on her relationship business-wise with Robyn. And this is where we also get to learn about Tiana's relationship with Krystal. So she talks very nicely about Krystal and how she knows her and they went to school together, but that she did business with her once. It wasn't a great transaction. And Tiffany is her preferred real estate lawyer, or I forget what they call it. The name, the attorney for closing attorney. I think that's what they said, closing attorney. So that's who she prefers to do business with. So now we know she does do business with a Black woman. It's just not Krystal, and that's fine. So let's keep going and let's see what else we can get from this scene. So moving into the next scene, Robyn and Krystal decide to meet up at a park to kind of clear the air. Now, it's very clear going into this conversation that they both can't see where they may have went wrong in the conversation. Krystal believes that Robyn was being rude by raising her voice in her office, which I agree. And Robyn feels like Krystal was being condescending, which I'm not so sure about. I think she may have been taking that wrong, but I also understand that that's how she feels, right? Now, I can stand with Robyn in this moment because I'm starting to notice Krystal has this tendency to, in moments that are serious, to kind of chuckle. People like that do work on my nerves personally, because when something's serious, you want the moment to be serious. And when somebody's kind of laughing things off, even if it's just because they're nervous or they don't know how to handle the situations, but they giggle, it takes away from the seriousness of the moment. And it kind of makes you feel like the joke if you're the person who's the conversation is about, or you're the person that's being vulnerable in the moment and all that sort of stuff, right? And in this moment, it is Robyn, because the issue that they're coming to talk about, it really is Robyn. But for Robyn, it's Krystal's behavior that day. So that's something to take note of, that Krystal doesn't seem to, what is the word? I don't want to say have a handle on her emotions, because that's not quite correct. But that's something maybe that she would definitely need to work on, is not kind of, that she just has this kind of giggly energy when it's not necessary and when it's not needed. And it could be a nervous tick of hers. And that's just something I wanted to take note of here in this moment. Let's see if this scene has anything else to give. All right. So now I think I'm beginning to better understand the issue between these two women. Krystal is highly logical, and Robyn is a little bit more emotional, and that's not a bad thing, okay? She's a feeler. Krystal goes, and I didn't like what she said here too, what I'm about to tell you. She goes and says something like, in that moment, you read the moment wrong. Okay, don't quote me, but it essentially what she was saying is that in the moment when they were having the disagreement in the office, that Robyn is upset about something she thought happened, but that wasn't reality. That wasn't what happened. And then she goes on to say, isn't that a little crazy? That really that really pissed her off in this scene. It actually made her leave. That's when she went on to say, now you're going to make it about my mental health, which absolutely Krystal wasn't really trying. Well, you could make an argument for both sides. You could say that was mental health related, what she was saying there, and you can make an argument saying that it wasn't related. It couldn't have been. That wasn't what she was talking about. I would say that she most likely didn't mean it as a direct attack on Robyn's mental health or mental state. However, if you've been through the things that Robyn has been through, I could see why you may take it that way. I also felt in that moment that Krystal did not know how to comfort her friend or how to say, you know what, friend, that's not how I meant it, girl. I didn't mean it like that. I don't know if it's an ego thing with Krystal or if she just maybe doesn't feel that way or see it that way. But to me, it's like she had an opportunity to really show Robyn that wasn't what it was, and she just was not able to do that. And that really sent Robyn over the edge. She left. She feels like it was about that Krystal was taking an attack on her mental health. I feel like Krystal I feel like she was operating an ego a little bit, and then Robyn started operating an ego. Well, they both were, to be honest with you. And even Robyn, like before she leaves, she was like, I never wanted to be your friend. You wanted to be my friend. And that's when it kind of just went all downhill. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I don't want to put all the blame on Krystal, because at some point Robyn has to take like responsibility and accountability for where she is. And maybe she just needs not to be around, too many women until she can, heal. But also Krystal, I feel like as the more emotionally, I guess I want to say intelligent one, but I'm questioning even that. But to me, she seems to be a little bit more emotionally intelligent. I just would have thought that she would have handled it differently, but maybe, like I said, ego is in the way. So I think that's pretty much it for that scene. Okay, so for that last scene, they pretty much agree to disagree. They argue a little bit more, but child, I can't break every little piece down. But they argue a little bit more, and then they agree to disagree. Then they talk about how they're going to get all the women together. So that pretty much closes up that that last scene. So far, I will say, I think this show is amazing. I think it is going to be great reality TV. It seems well produced, and the women seem to be showing up fully ready to give their all as far as showing what they do, and even a little bit of the dynamics between them. And I don't know if we'll get to see their personal lives a lot or anything like that. But so far, I'm really enjoying the show, and I can't wait to recap the next episode. And that's pretty much all I have for, what's the name of this show? And that is pretty much all I have for Ladies Who List Atlanta. And that's all I have for episode 1 of Ladies Who List Atlanta. What are your thoughts on the show? Did you discover it just now like me? Let me know in the comments. I'm also going to write an article about some of the deeper things I saw in this episode. So if you like articles, if you like to read articles, or you like articles on shows, be sure to head over to my Medium account for this channel. It's in the description, the channel description. And you'll see something there, okay? I also have a Tumblr that I probably will post on as well. So if you're into Tumblr or Medium and you're into written content, be sure to check my content out there, all right? In the meantime, vibe to the outro music, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.